Hey guys, welcome to That Florida Feelin'. I hope everybody's had a good week. It's been a hot week here. Spring is just gone. I don't know if we actually had one, but maybe we did for a day. It's gone though. Florida skips it. We're in the 90s again. Upper 90s. Not even like the low 90s. Skipped the 80s, went straight to the 90s. But I hope everybody's had a good week. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to the Conk Republic. I am feeling much better. Thank you to all of those who checked on me. That was a rough, I'm going to say 2 weeks. Pretty good 2 weeks there. But I'm feeling much better. Thank you. Shout out to everybody who has interacted with all the social media pages. I appreciate it. I know I say that every time, but I mean it. And for everybody who supports the podcast. I can't believe it's 3 years next week. Oh my gosh, you guys. Thank you for making it the 3 years. And those of you who stuck with me from the beginning. Love each and every one of you guys for that. If you have not checked out Unfiltered Studios yet, you need to. There are some awesome people over there, some amazing podcasts. If you're looking for a new podcast to get into, I definitely recommend checking out Unfiltered Studios. You can find so many amazing types of podcasts over there. There's literally something for everyone. I have actually gotten to interact with a lot of really cool people over there, and I'm looking at having a couple of them on the podcast very soon. I'm excited for that. So if you're looking for something, go check out Unfiltered Studios. I love being a part of it. It is a really great group of people. They're supportive, they're helpful, and so check it out. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, definitely X or Twitter. I'm always going to call it Twitter. It will forever be Twitter to me. But X. So definitely check that out. So today we're going to talk about a subject that I talk about yearly. Why? Because it happens yearly. It literally happens yearly in Florida. At the same time, this is not a surprise. And you're not even going to be surprised by this. I am talking about hurricane season. That's right. It's that time of year again. Happens every year. June 1st. We are there. Literally happens next week. So yeah, we're going to talk about hurricanes and hurricane preparedness. I do this episode every year. That's because 1,000 people a day move to Florida. I don't know where y'all are going. I really don't. I have no idea where y'all are moving into. Housing is so bad here. That's just being realistic. But yeah, so to all of those who are new to the podcast and new to Florida, hurricane season begins June 1st. And some years we don't really have any. Some years we get hit by a one or a tropical storm, or sometimes they miss us completely, which every year that's what we hope for. Every year. And then some years we have an Ian or an Irma, or please, dear God, never again an Andrew or an Ian. Because when it happens, it's bad. Who is bad? If you've gone back and listened to my podcast about some of the storms I've ridden through, it's scary. And that's why we prepare for these, guys. That's why we prepare, because you're like, oh, it's not going to be that bad. I have 3 to 4 days. I didn't have power for a week and a half. I thought I was prepared. I was not. I was not prepared at all. I was nowhere near prepared. And I would like to say for the next one, I'll be more prepared, and I think I will be. I may or may not be. I don't know. It really just, it depends, so that's why I talk about this topic, because I've been on both sides of it, so today we're going to talk about hurricane preparedness. So it does start, hurricane season runs June 1st to December 1st. And there was a National Hurricane Preparedness Week. That was in May. That was beginning of May. It was May 5th through the 11th, so we've missed that. And I will tell you, the biggest part of hurricanes is wind and water. The wind is obviously very strong with hurricanes. The biggest threats are storm surge, flooding, tornadoes, and rip currents. And if you saw when Ian hit, that storm surge that came through Fort Myers, and you can see the time-lapse video, and it starts, and it grows, and it grows, and it just grows. Like it goes from 0 water to 16 feet in what looks like 5 minutes. And that's the biggest thing. You know, you can't outrun water, no matter how hard you try. And it just comes out of nowhere very fast. And so that's the things you have to be prepared for. Like, do you have an evacuation plan? What is your evacuation zone? And then, are you ready? That's the things I'm really going to talk about today. So first of all, being prepared. So first of all, know your evacuation zone. I live in an apartment. I live on the 3rd floor. If it floods to the 3rd floor, I'm done no matter what, if I didn't evacuate. If it floods to the 3rd floor, well, I'm a goner anyways. So let's just accept that. But when I lived in my house in Central Florida, I was not in what was known as a flood zone, even though every time it rained, it flooded. But somehow that wasn't classified as a flood zone. But during Irma, it did flood. It was very interesting. I think every part of Florida should be a flood zone, here nor there. But during Irma, it did flood. Not enough to damage our house. Our house was up high enough where it didn't get it. But, you know, that's something we had to know. Like, were we in a flood zone? But we did have to get sandbags, and we did have to sandbag our garage. But that is something that you need to know. Because when they start doing evacuation zones, if it is a mandatory evacuation, you should go. And I'll tell you the difference. A mandatory evacuation is if they say mandatory evacuation for zones, you know, A, B, C, D. If you do not mandatory evacuate and you stay and you call for help, no one has to save you. That's the difference. Absolutely no one has to save you. All right? Because if you did not evacuate and you were told to, you are now putting yourself and others in imminent danger. Because they know that when that storm hits, that is where the worst part is going to hit. So you need to know your zone, and you need to know what's going to happen. So that's the first thing, know your zone. The second thing is to stay up to date on information during hurricane season. So find a weather person you trust. You know, when I was in Tampa, it was always Fox 13. Those people were absolutely great. Fox 35 was always really good. Dennis Phillips also was really good. I follow him on Facebook even to this day. Even though I live in Jacksonville now. In Jacksonville, Action News Jax. I love them. Also, I follow NOAA. So find some people that you trust during hurricane season that are going to have the latest information. All right? So that's another thing you need to do. The next thing you need to do is go ahead and buy supplies. So go ahead and start preparing before hurricane season. So you need to get a plan underway, and then you need to get supplies together. So, and they always say have, you know, up to a week. And the reason that they say up to a week is because sometimes power is not established back for a week. Like we were out for about a week to a week and a half. I think it was about 9 days when Irma hit. When Ian hit, we were only out for a couple days. So, you know, you need to have food that you can eat without cooking it. So, beanie weenies, beef jerky, peanuts, peanut butter. But remember, guys, bread goes moldy. Just keep that in mind. As weird as this is, trail mix, candy, stuff that you're going to eat, stuff that everybody in your house is going to eat. If you have a picky eater, go ahead and plan on that. Also, please remember, if you have pets, you need to plan on pets. If you have cats, you need cat food and cat litter. You also need to have water. You need to have water for yourself and for your animals. This is the fun part. You also need to have water to be able to flush your toilets. So if a hurricane's coming and you don't plan to evacuate, fill up your bathtubs. Fill up jugs. Like, we have cats. So when Ian and Irma were coming, we had old cat tub, like litters, pails. We filled up those pails of water and we left them. And when we came back, because the water was off, you know, we didn't have running water, that's what we were flushing the toilet with. That's what you need. You need to make sure these are the things that you need to be aware of. You also need to have cash. If you need to purchase something and there's no electricity, you're not going to be able to use your debit or credit card. So you need to have a stash of cash. All right. Now there's no electricity. You need to be able to see during the day. You need to have batteries, flashlights, lanterns. You also need to have portable chargers for your phones and radios. Yes, you can use your car, and we did that, but you need to have devices, and you need to be able to charge those devices. So again, if your car has a cigarette lighter, fun fact, some cars don't have those anymore, so you need to find a way to charge those. We also found out you need to have a stash of gas, like gasoline, but you need to keep it away from everything because it is flammable. So have that. Another good thing is you need to be able to, and this is something that we almost forgot. We bought and it's on Amazon. If anybody wants the link, just hit me up on social media. We bought a fireproof box. You need to have your insurance documents. You need to have your passports, your papers, your birth certificates. Anything important, you need to put it in that so that you can move it with you. You need to have all that with you. Another good thing is you also need to document your possessions. So take your phone and take a video of your house or your apartment. And that way, when insurance comes, you can be like, nope, this was all mine. I've done that several times when we evacuated one time. And it's a really sad feeling as you're doing it, but it's something you have to be prepared for. And that's why I'm telling you this in preparation for hurricane season, so that if you have to do this, you're like, all right, I know this. You also need to have a plan with, you need to have all your contacts written down. I know why you're writing them, I have a phone. Well, when your phone dies, you can't access it. So you need to have a handwritten document, and you need to have that with your stuff so you can still access it. You also need to have stuff as backup for your house. So buy the tarps, buy the nails, buy the plywood and have it stored. Because when you go to buy this, it's going to be out right when the hurricane's hitting. And that's why I'm telling you this now. So Florida has a great thing. They have a tax holiday for disaster preparedness. The first one actually starts Saturday, June 1st. So not this Saturday, next Saturday. And it ends on Friday, June 14th. So it's a 2-week holiday. And then there'll be another one in August. But you need to start buying stuff. And that's when it's tax-free. So this is when you want to buy your batteries, your tarps, your nails, your buckets. Home Depot and Lowe's usually have some really cool things. Buy flex tape, believe it or not. Buy duct tape. Buy the things that you can use later on. Buy bungee cords. I didn't realize how important bungee cords would be. And I'm not telling you guys all this to scare you. I'm telling you this to prepare you. I've lived in Florida 11 years. 12 years? 11 years? I've lived here a while. I don't know. And my first year, we didn't have a hurricane. We had a tropical storm come around. It wasn't that bad. I didn't think it was that bad. And I wasn't really ready. We had a couple brushes, and then we bought a house, and then Irma hit. And I was not ready. And I wish that someone had told me all this information before. And that's why I'm telling you guys. I don't want you guys to feel like I did. So I try to tell you guys this every year, because I don't want you guys to feel like I did. So, be aware of all this stuff. And you can find plenty of information online. There's plenty of checklists. And the news will always tell you. And don't think it's fear-mongering. And if you get worried, it's okay to evacuate, guys. It absolutely is okay to evacuate. And some locals will tell you, oh, it'll turn. Oh, it's okay to stay. Oh, it's okay. It's okay to do whatever you feel like you need to do. It really is. If you want to stay there, just go ahead and plan to live without power, water, gas, and phone and internet if it hits, and if it hits bad. Because there are parts of Fort Myers that are still not okay. I mean, there are even parts from Irma that are still recovering, and that was 7 years ago. So you can imagine Ian was 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago? 23? No, it's 1 year. Oh, gosh, I don't know how long ago it was. My times. But my point is that if you don't feel safe, it's okay to leave. It really is. And then also understand that, like, some houses are not going to withstand a hurricane. If you live in a mobile home and you're in that evacuation zone, go ahead and evacuate for your own safety. And please take your pets. Take your pets. That is your family. But you can find checklists, and the checklists are genuinely pretty good. It reminds you to get your medicine. It reminds you to get your animals. It reminds you to get your chargers. It reminds you to get your cash. It also says, like, get books and games if you have kids. Also, do not use candles. And the reason do not use candles is first of all, it's a fire hazard. Secondly, if there's a gas leak, you go kaboom very fast. Also, if you choose to use a generator, guys, do not put it in your house. That is the fastest way to meet your maker, because carbon monoxide is a thing. And if a hurricane truly is coming, always get a backup of gasoline, because gas lines are going to get super long, super fast. And I laugh about that because you'll see people in line for gas, and then it'll turn, and then everybody's mad because they waited in line for an hour for gas, and then nothing happened. And I laugh about it now, but, but these are the things that are just kind of funny about it. But then when you do it, and you did it, and something does go wrong, you're glad you did it. And I know I'm throwing a lot of things about you guys at once, but I just want you guys to be prepared. I really don't want anybody to have a hurricane season like I did when Irma hit. Because it was bad. It was scary. So I try to give you guys all these tips and all these information, and you can find it all online. Weather.gov, NOAA, Red Cross, Florida has a lot of stuff that you can do it. And even if you're not, if you don't take it seriously, or you don't want to take it seriously yet, they do have the holidays. You do get a lot of tax-free items. So, you need some batteries, go buy some batteries. And it is cool because they have even a list of eligible items. So, reusable ice packs, those are tax-free. Coolers, if you need a nice cooler, $60 or less, those are tax-free. Bungee cords are tax-free. Tarps are tax-free. A lot of batteries. Even portable generators, believe it or not, are about to be tax-free. Pet food is actually about to be tax-free. So is, if you need collars, leashes, those are all going to be tax-free. Pet beds, all the pet stuff. It's anything for evacuations is going to be tax-free. So that's kind of nice, because Florida really does want you to be able to evacuate safely, or to be prepared, and to all your family members with your pets. So that's my spiel for the year about hurricane preparedness. I know it's a lot of information, and I will put links. I always do at the start of hurricane season. I always give you guys links every year. So, because it is coming, this is my hurricane preparedness for the year. But I hope you guys, if you're not in Florida and you're coming to vacation, just keep an eye out on the weather, because every year it happens. Tropical storm comes, people get upset, and then I get all these messages. Should I come? I can't tell you that, guys. That is solely up to you. I always say come to Florida. It's a beautiful place to visit. Don't be surprised if it rains every day. It'll last 5 minutes. But I also don't want you to come and get upset if a tropical storm does hit on your vacation. If you guys want to reach out and say hi, I always love that. I love talking to you guys. I love interacting with you guys. I've made some really good friends through this podcast over the past 3 years, so thank you so much for that. Met some interesting people also as well. Haven't met a Florida man yet. I mean, I've seen them out in the wild. I see them all the time. Ooh, Jacksonville is full of them, let me tell you. But today's Florida man today's Florida man is out of Ocala, guys. Florida man was arrested in Ocala and facing multiple charges, including grand theft, because he stole a vehicle and then he called the owner before getting busted. Yeah. So let's see. He stole the vehicle, and he left the Winn-Dixie supermarket, denied stealing it, and then called the woman and said, "Hey, I have your vehicle." And then the woman called the cops. It's like, "Yeah, he's got my vehicle." So yeah, not a very good criminal if he admits to it. So that's our Florida man for the day. Of course, he wouldn't be a good criminal if he got caught. I hope you guys have learned something today. If nothing else, hurricane season, take it seriously. I will have something fun next week for my 3rd year anniversary. Appreciate you guys listening. If you're not from Florida, I always say skip these episodes, even though I'm saying this at the end. If you guys ever have an idea for a topic or you want to be on the podcast, you think you have a good topic, always let me know. I love having great guests on here. I'm actually working on the next few months getting people in, so I always reach out. Post those memes. I love it. I love seeing them. There's so much wild and fun about Florida. Never gets old. I hope everybody has a great week. Don't forget to drink your water, wear your sunscreen. It is getting very warm. I know kids are getting out of school. There's a ton of old episodes, guys, in my library. If you're looking for something fun to do in Florida this summer, don't forget to check those out. Check out Unfiltered Studios, like I said, if you're looking for a new podcast, guys. I hope everybody has a great week. And as always, guys, that's your daily dose of sunshine.
This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.